I can't go and be asking you because it might seem so insensitive.
I mean, are you on your period? What's your word?
Exactly. You know, when something, forgive me again, something as little as asking a lady about her age is considered offensive, how much more something that is private?
You've asked to be forgiven twice on this set.
Yeah, I'm just saying so that I don't get attacked.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Menarche series of More Than a Voice by OVIWCE. This series is aimed at demystifying menstruation and erasing the harsh culture around menstruation. This series is to encourage people to talk about their menstrual stories, their first experience with menstruation, how it has been, and now there is a twist to it. On this episode, I'm going to be talking to a man who, of course, has not menstruated before, but would have experienced menstruation in a way either through family or friends, or maybe even just colleagues at work or something. So now I have with me on set today
Silas Odey. Yeah.
Hi, Silas. How do you feel coming on set to talk about menstruation?
Well, before I got to sit down here, I've just been thinking about the kind of statements I'm going to make because, to be honest, I have no exposure to the whole concept of menstruation and then the effects associated with it. So yeah, just ask the questions. If I don't know, I don't know. So
of course. This is just to get like your perspective as a male towards menstruation. It's not something that anything is set for you to say. Just say it as it comes to you. So I want to know, when was the first time rather that you heard about menstruation?
I think that was late primary school or early junior secondary school. And when you're doing all these social studies and they just
I think it was home economics. Exactly.
They just splash on it, like they just breeze through it like it's one of those things.
Exactly.
And, because it's not been that common, like in the educational system, people don't really know much about it. So I was privileged to hear about menstruation in school, like I said, junior secondary or late primary. But I can't really remember. You see why I can't remember? Because it wasn't enforced as much as it should have been enforced. So that's basically how it is. Yeah,
so teachers, have you heard, you need to do better. I mean, it's not enough to just talk about menstruation because it's a topic in your syllabus.
Yeah.
Just tell your students what menstruation really is, what's the process. Of course, for the guys who are never going to experience menstruation in their lifetime, let them understand what the process is, what is expected of them, or how they can even care for people who are going to be menstruating. So now, Silas, you heard about menstruation in early primary school in school. So has there been any experience that you've had that involves maybe a lady menstruating lady being close to you, or you having to care for a menstruating lady, or maybe buy pad or something like that?
No, I've only been hearing stories, and forgive me, but menstruation comes with the effects. When a lady is menstruating, there are certain attitudes that go on. She might be quiet, or she might be withdrawn, mood swings, and all of that. So I only got to see the side effects. And the reason why, you mentioned maybe if I know any lady that my colleagues or whatever that goes through these things, if they have gotten to share their experiences with me, I would say no. And that's because, like I mentioned, the side effects, mood swings and stuff. So there's this feeling I have that once ladies are going through stuff, especially the mood swings and with being withdrawn, and then you tend to ask the questions as a man.
Yeah, irritating them.
Exactly. They'll clap back, and I'm this kind of guy that I rather just respect your privacy. And that has been my attitude for years, which has also spurred into me not having making the conscious effort to ask. So I just get to see that, okay, this person is quiet. And then I probabilities. I just guess and say probably
she's probably on a period.
Exactly, and I can't go and be asking you because it might seem so insensitive.
I mean, are you on your period? What's your word?
Exactly. When something, forgive me again, something as little as asking a lady about her age is considered offensive, how much more something that is private.
You've asked to be forgiven twice on this set.
Yeah, I'm just saying so that I don't get attacked. Like, I'm just.
Why are you so scared?
I'm not scared. I just have to put the disclaimer out there so that you don't think I'm all these guys, all these people that jump on podcasts and they are trying to just aspire to Maguire. I don't know anything.
Like, yeah,
disclaimer.
a particular name that just popped in my head. Anyways, okay, so just to address what you just mentioned, there are several ways that you can help or like offer support to a menstruating lady.
Yeah.
I keep saying menstruating lady. To a lady on a menstruation on a period.
Yeah.
So when a lady is on a period, they don't just withdraw or like have mood swings because they want to. We have hormonal imbalance during our menstruation. So like there are so many things happening at the same time within you that you're not actually seeing, but you just know that it comes with this thing. So like you don't totally understand it yet, but the best way like you can just feel anything close to comfort is when you're alone by yourself. So it's not because they don't want to talk to you, it's just because that's what's happening within them at times. So some people would love to be pampered at the time. In fact, most ladies would love to be pampered at the time. So if you're going to be married one day, I'm just giving you tips, and this can even help you get a girl. So tell me, you're welcome. Tell me thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it can help you get a girl. Just when a lady is on a period, you suspect that a lady is on a period, just like you do.
Don't get me wrong. It's not as if I'm not interested to offer.
No, I'm just telling you, but you don't know how to offer the help. So that's what I was just going to say.
Well,
okay, tell me, you know how to offer the help.
Offer help. I know, like, when you scroll through social media, you see a couple of things. Ladies put out stuff out there. There are things I've memorized,
Intentional man.
I've memorized those things, like, there's this app called Flow.
Yes, Flow.
But I've not downloaded it.
Of course, you don't need to download it.
Exactly. So you help monitor, the cycle. There's that. There are also things you can do to relieve the pains, like all the cramps and stuff, massaging. I don't know, is that?
Yeah, massaging.
So that means that's one of them.
But don't go and touch anybody without their consent.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's until I get married before I'll be able to actually actively offer help. But that's where I see it, because
there are other helps that you can offer without getting married. You can send them period packs.
Exactly, there's that. But I heard that pads are expensive, so I mean, like, it's not as if I
have to double your hustle.
Exactly. So yeah, it's something I want to invest in doing, because actually emotionally I see it as life not being fair to them, because you're having to treat yourself for something that you did not inflict upon yourself. Like you have to look out for period pains.
You have to check your clothes several times to be sure that with PMS, then there's the period, then even after that there's ovulation. A lot.
Like I said, pads are expensive. Having to now buy pads by force, even when you don't have
the money.
Because it's not everyone that is comfortable enough to.
And let me tell you something. There's something that comes with period. Some mad excessive cravings.
Exactly.
It's at that time that you be craving that thing that you had at that restaurant that is really expensive.
Eat blue jollof or with legs of humans, all those kind of cravings. So how do you, all those things? I mean, it's not fair. There's that, but like I said, because I do not want to, if I decide to put myself out there, finding out from ladies like this is what you are going through, and then imagine, because every lady has their different the way they react to period, menstruation, and all of that. Your experience might be different from someone else's, and probably what I read on the internet was just the basics, and then when I go and ask, I go and find out, then what they hit me with, I'm not prepared for. There's that. Since you've asked, that means you have to follow through to the end, and I'm that kind of guy. If I start something, I have
no
to
pressure.
That kind of thing. So instead of getting involved now, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but it's just one of those things. Let me just end it there.
Well, I mean, it's lovely to see that you care enough to have read about these things, and
sometimes you don't know how to help, because again, the world that we live in, if you say you're offering help, people would like, are you trying to say I cannot help myself? All those things, like there's a whole lot of.
I feel like you've had an awful experience with a lady that's making you so careful.
No, I'm just the kind of guy. I'm this kind of guy that I just love to, probabilities and stuff. So when I keep running all those probabilities, the negative results from all those probabilities just say, you know what, just mind your business, because that's the world we live in. People are encouraged to mind their business. Like, if you are being factual, people are being encouraged to mind their business. So instead of me, when you don't know me, I don't know you on a personal level, and I'm going there, like very personal level, and I'm trying to be that kind of person, and you're like, why are you...
Bro, why are you doing too much?
Exactly. That kind of thing. So I'd rather just...
I think that's smart. That's a smart way to go about it. And also, you mentioned about not knowing to help. From my conversation with you, I think you know how to help. Maybe you're just not like prepared for like what could be the extreme case of wanting to help. I mean, you can say, oh, I think this person is on period. Let me get her pads and some chocolates or something. And then she says, no, what I feel right now is really massage at one expensive spa that can. And then you're just like, hey, what am I supposed to do? Exactly. So I get that, but like I think you really care enough for you to know flow.
I do.
Yeah. And also just a little bit of advice. Once, like you said, you need to get to know people on a very, very personal level before you, because the way menstruation still is in this part of the world, we think a lot of us still hold it close to heart, which is this series is trying to like correct, because I mean menstruation should be, it's a biological process, just like eating, just like wearing clothes. Yeah, that's not a biological process, by the way, but just like any normal process. So you should be able to talk about it, you should be able to share, but like even there are a lot of people who still won't be able to share. So for you to want to like care for them, you need to get to know them on a particular level and ask them if it's okay to care for them. And like tell you, a lot of ladies will like appreciate the help, especially, and like the other guys that would a lady once said that she got stained, and then the guy that told her really brashly, and then we're like, excuse me, it's not my fault that I'm stained. And I mean, you can try to be like the most careful person, and this thing will still show you shaky. Exactly. You can use flow and use all the hearts on hearts, and then it will come on the day that you're not expecting it to come, when you're not with pad or whatever. But I mean, you can even just be sitting and then you stand and then you're staying. So like you can be the most careful person and this thing will still mess you up. So as a guy who does not experience this, you don't share the struggle. This is just an advice. When you want to tell people, tell them with kindness. It's not their fault that they're menstruating. It's not and it's not a shame. It's nothing to be ashamed of. If your wife doesn't menstruate, there's no way she's going to give you a child. So menstruation should be welcomed. It should be discussed publicly, because again, it's nobody's fault that we're menstruating, and it's really a huge part of life.
Publicity is one of the reasons why most guys would rather stay in their lane, because they are not as aware as they should be. Like the experiences that I've not, like I said, I've never really experienced it firsthand, seeing a lady menstruating, or having to hear that this is what's going on. It's just through the reactions. You're only seeing reactions. You don't know what exactly is the main cause of the problem,
and you're just guessing.
Exactly, and living off guesses is a very risky thing to do. So I think if society is a little bit more lenient, in accepting, like you mentioned, it's a biological process. You don't have to be stigmatizing people, like ladies, for what is not their fault. You get that kind of thing. Maybe the world
things will become easier for you guys.
But I feel like if we publicize this thing enough, then people will start getting comfortable. Guys will start getting comfortable to be able to reach out and know how to reach out. So that's that. And then I think
that's the culture this podcast is trying to propagate it, by the way.
Which is lovely.
Thank you.
Which is really lovely. And I know there's something again, I don't know if you want to ask questions on that, like the female genital mutilation.
Oh yes.
Yeah, times I've gotten to hear about that. Were really they're like moments, like I can call key moments. All those things you can never forget. Something that is not as common. Like maybe Christmas once in a year, that you get to experience once in a year, on like everyday activity that you get to do. That is how I got to hit like my about FGM. I can remember the first time I heard about it. I was still, I think, in JSS1, and they just people that like what your team is doing, you come and just talk. They host one seminar. We just hear it just that once, And then the next time we're hearing it, it's
By the way, that's not what my team is doing.
I'm saying,
We're
like,
consistent.
I'm just saying, like,
I know. Now I was just messing with.
so they just give that seminar and that's it. It's not as frequent. You get? So the female genital mutilation that I go to, like, as I know, because of those few moments I got to hear about it, I know it's very devastating and it's very dangerous.
It is, because they're cutting off part of the female.
So, and the next time I got to hear, I think I've heard about it three times. The next time I got to hear it was in 2019 in UI, where they organized this seminar again, and there was this stage play that they did. They shared handouts for people to fill and just to know about this thing. So again, publicity. If people get to talk about these things more, I guess the effect will be suppressed and then to be more welcomed in society, and you get to address this thing. You get to sort out the problems easily and faster instead of just
basking in the ignorance of these issues. Just like you mentioned, in 2019, OVIWCE actually showed a play in University of Ibadan. Yes, we did that. We did in pharmacy too. Yes, it was us.
Like that memory is core for me because I remember the whole stage play. It was a village setting with the king, and like I can remember vividly. So you see, if we have more of these things, it will be in your system and you get to talk more even in your own space without having to have OVIWCE hosting an event that covers that topic. You in your own space, you can talk about these things, and then when light shines in darkness disappears. So if we shed more light in dark areas, all those things, and it's in grassroots.
Yes, I was going to say that. That's going to help to promote grassroots sensitization.
Exactly, like what we are doing now. We are just talking to people who have access to phones.
So this podcast is not for you to just listen and then one off and that's all. It's supposed to prompt you to even want to seek further knowledge. So go online, read books, learn about these things, ask questions if you're not clear, reach out to OVIWCE. We're always more than willing to talk to you about these topics. Okay. So yeah.
So how do we all of this? How do you reach out to the grassroots? Like reach out to the grassroots.
So we're doing. At OVIWCE, we're doing our bit at spreading the knowledge of these things. But again, let's be realistic. We cannot reach everybody in the world, which is why we charge our listeners, our audience, our beneficiaries that whenever we talk to you about this situation, it's not just for you. You have to pass on the knowledge. You have to be clear, get clarity, go online, read about it. If you have questions, come back to ask us. We'll tell you. And then when you get to your own circle of influence, talk to people. So the people that we cannot reach, you can help us reach them. So yeah, that's how we aim to do that. Thank you so much, Silas, for coming on this set. It's been really nice talking to you about menstruation. I mean, you've given me so much from the male perspective. One would think that you're menstruating yourself. Thank you so much. Until I come again next time, my name is Rashida Abimbola Adekune. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Bye.
Bye.